How to synthesize your dreams. I'm actually really proud of this title, I won't lie. Came up with this idea and I love the way it sounds. It's just got a good ring to it. But this is how you behaviorally turn your dreams, I guess, figuratively into your reality, right? How can you actualize your dreams? I'm not talking about the dreams you dream whenever you're in REM sleep. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your vision for your future, the future that you want to live, the life that you want to live, the people you want to be around, the places you want to go, the things you want to do, that kind of dream. This is how you get there, how you figure out how to get there in your life, because this has been a huge struggle for me. I've always spent a lot of time just reflecting and meditating upon what it is I want to do with my life and what my end goal is. And I've had a lot of really I have a complicated relationship with my vision and my purpose in life. And so hopefully this video will help you to not waste time like I did and give you a little bit of clarity on what it means to synthesize your dreams and what it means to actually figure out the process and the steps and the frameworks that you can physically take to be more aligned with your vision. All right, the first principle is you need to reverse engineer the steps to get there. So you have a dream, you have a life that you want to live, you have a place you want to be, you have a family that you want to have, you have hobbies you want to pursue, you have work that you want to do, yada, 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 right? You have a dream. And so what you need to do is you need to break down the dream into categories, right? You need to like categorize different aspects of the dream, right? Relationships, wealth, health, hobbies, all the things. And then prioritize, right? Rank each of these categories into a list of priorities, like which one's the most important to you. Are your relationships the most important thing in your life? Then that should be number one on your list, and that should be your number one focus. Maybe it's your work. Maybe your work is your number one focus. Then that should be at the top of the list. And then whatever is at the top of the list, this is the thing that we're going to focus on reverse engineering. Because the big mistake that you could possibly, and the pitfall that you could make, is trying to reverse engineer your entire vision, your entire dream at the same time. Like all of the respective components of your dream, you're trying to reverse engineer them all at the same time, which never works out. It just adds too much complexity, and you're never going to make progress. What you need to do is instead pick that one priority that we came up with, right? If it's work, whether it's hobbies, whether it's relationships, let's say it's relationships, right? So you want to dial in on your relationships, that aspect of your dream life. We want to reverse engineer how to get to that point. Like what you have to first define what your dream relationships are, right? Good marriage, amazing relationship with your kids, good relationship with your family, with your parents, with your in-laws, all the things, right? And so you have to keep breaking down things. You have to keep breaking them down into smaller and smaller component parts until you get to like the nitty-gritty. And then you can like actually think about ways you can start to make progress, right? Because making progress in the macro, it just in a vacuum is very difficult. But whenever you are able to make progress in the micro and then strategically align those micro progressions towards the macro goal of, good relationships, solid, amazing relationships, then it's actually attainable. It's actually doable because you're not trying to solve this massive problem at one time. You're solving a bunch of tiny little problems that stack up and eventually alleviate the big problem. So, relationships. You break it down and you keep breaking down until you get to the component parts, and then you figure out what are the steps you need to take. This is the process of reverse engineering, by the way. And then you figure out what are the steps you need to take to get to overcome each one, and just do them consistently. Make them a priority, and eventually you will hopefully make a little bit of progress towards the dream relationships that you want, and synthesize these relationships. All right, the next principle is to create an anti-vision, right? So after you've kind of reverse engineered what it is you want to do and the steps that you'll take to get there, you need to know what not to do, right? Um, this is arguably a step that could come before the first principle, but I'm doing it now. It's basically the principle of inversion, Charlie Munger, right? Always invert, 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 invert. And what you want to do is essentially figure out what you don't dream about. Figure out what you don't want to have in your life. What is not a part of your vision. And then that will be your anti-vision. This is going to be like the thing that you try to not do. This is the vision that you don't want to live. It's like the opposite of your dream life, right? So you can easily imagine that. I think it's easier to come up with an anti-vision than it is to come up with a vision, because a vision, it's more aspirational, it's more ethereal, but an anti-vision, it might have aspects of your life right now. Like the life you're living right in this moment might be a part of that anti-vision. So it's more tangible, even though it's a little bit darker and a little bit harder to look at, right? Harder to face. I think that, yeah, having the anti-vision is huge. All right. After the anti-vision, you want to avoid the pitfalls. So this relies upon the anti-vision in some ways, right? You've come up with the dream life that you don't want to live. And then what you need to do is break down and reverse engineer those, right? Reverse engineer how you could possibly go down the rabbit hole of ending up in that anti-vision and avoid those pitfalls, right? Identify them so that you know what they are, and then don't do them. Just avoid doing those, falling into those traps. And arguably, this is more important than reverse engineering your dreams, because you're effectively synthesizing a shield, essentially, against, like, you're synthesizing a shield against the pitfalls and the potential mistakes that you can make that will waste time, waste energy, and waste money, and it'll stand in the way of you synthesizing your dreams. And then finally, you just have to grab yourself by the scruff of your neck and actually go out there and synthesize something. Like, actually do the thing. Like, we can sit in our rooms just meditating and asking the world about what our dream, our vision and anti-vision is. But if we don't actually do them, if we don't actually take the action in the real world to change our lives, then nothing's going to change. So you need to get out there and do it, man. I believe in you. You can synthesize your dreams. Goodbye.